For more than 2 decades, Hollywood has whispered the same question. How did Russell Crowe, the Oscar-winning Gladiator of the silver screen, become its most notorious bad boy? He was not just an actor, he was a warrior, a symbol of strength and artistry, the man who once carried Gladiator to immortality and turned a beautiful mind into a masterpiece. But behind the red carpets and golden statues, a darker truth began to unfold. Explosive fights in hotel lobbies, barroom brawls, and a temper that reporters said could ignite at any moment. The very intensity that made him magnetic on screen became destructive off it, leaving fans stunned and the media circling like vultures. And there was always someone ready to tell the story. Paparazzi who chased him through Sydney streets, hotel staff who felt his fury, journalists who branded him a Hollywood hothead. Each headline peeled back another layer of a star who seemed unable to control the fire that had once made him great. Was Russell Crowe truly a victim of fame's unrelenting pressure, or did his own demons drag him from glory to ridicule? The answer may forever change how the world remembers him. Russell Ira Crowe was born on April 7, 1964 in Wellington, New Zealand, and grew up in Sydney, Australia, surrounded by the glow of film sets. His parents worked in movie catering, and young Russell often roamed the background of productions, watching actors deliver lines while he fetched props or carried cables. From the beginning, he wasn't just a spectator, he was absorbing the language of fame. By 6 years old, he had already appeared on television, a child actor brushing against the edges of the spotlight. But school never held him. He dropped out early, preferring music and late-night performances with his rock band. Even then, whispers of a restless, fiery spirit followed him. Russell was talented, but volatile, unwilling to bend. His breakthrough came in Australia with the film Romper Stomper, 1992, a shocking performance that made critics hail him as fearless and raw. Hollywood quickly noticed, and suddenly the boy from Wellington was being called to audition for roles that could define careers. Yet even in these early years, directors and co-stars noted something dangerous beneath the brilliance: a temper, a refusal to compromise, and a need to dominate every scene, on and off the screen. The year 2000 crowned Russell Crowe as Hollywood's ultimate warrior. In Gladiator, his fierce portrayal of Maximus electrified audiences and earned him the Academy Award for Best Actor. Overnight, he wasn't just another rising star, he was the face of a new era. A man who carried films on his shoulders and delivered them to box office triumph. The following year, he stunned the world again with A Beautiful Mind, a role that revealed his vulnerability and brilliance, earning him yet another Oscar nomination. He was unstoppable, hailed as the most intense leading man of his generation. Directors fought to work with him, critics praised his range, and studios trusted him with their biggest projects. But even at the height of glory, shadows lurked. On set, rumours spread of clashes with producers, heated arguments with co-stars, and demands that pushed crews to their limits. The very passion that made him extraordinary also made him feared. Crowe's name became a symbol of excellence, yet whispered alongside it was another word: difficult. Hollywood had its Gladiator, but it also had a man whose fire threatened to consume everything around him. Away from the cameras, Russell Crowe's personal life seemed, for a time, like a safe harbour. In 2003, he married Australian singer and actress Danielle Spencer, his longtime love. For a while, the marriage offered balance, a home away from the chaos of film sets and the joy of raising 2 sons. Fans believed the Gladiator had finally found peace, but Hollywood rarely allows peace to last. The relentless travel, long months of filming abroad, and the constant pressure of public scrutiny placed cracks in the foundation. Paparazzi hounded him, tabloids speculated about infidelity, and whispers of his fiery temper spilled into stories about his home life. By 2012, the marriage had collapsed, ending in divorce. In the years that followed, his relationships became fleeting headlines, rumoured romances, late-night encounters, and the image of a man searching for stability but unable to find it. The press painted him not as a devoted father or loving partner, but as Hollywood's volatile bad boy. Love, which could have softened his edges, became another battlefield, and each failure seemed to mirror the broader decline of a star once untouchable. By the mid-2000s, Russell Crowe's off-screen temper became as famous as his on-screen performances. The defining moment came in 2005 when he hurled a telephone at a New York hotel employee after a late-night dispute. The incident made global headlines, leading to his arrest and tarnishing his carefully built image. The Gladiator of Hollywood was suddenly reduced to a tabloid caricature, the angry star who couldn't control himself. But this wasn't an isolated slip. Reports of bar fights, clashes with photographers, and verbal tirades haunted him. Journalists began to track his outbursts as eagerly as his movies, and every angry gesture fed into the narrative that Russell Crowe was unhinged. Even co-stars hinted at his volatility, describing him as brilliant but exhausting to work with. Hollywood, which once celebrated his intensity, now hesitated. Studio executives questioned whether his talent outweighed the risk of scandal. Roles that once came easily grew fewer, while the press dissected each misstep. What should have been a golden era of lasting greatness became overshadowed by anger, arrests, and public humiliation. For Russell Crowe, scandal had become his second script, and one he couldn't escape. After the scandals, Russell Crowe faced a decline sharper than anyone expected. Once the most bankable leading man in Hollywood, he now found his name attached to fewer blockbuster projects. While films like Cinderella Man and Robin Hood tried to recapture his glory, the magic seemed to fade. Audiences still admired his craft, but the headlines about his weight gain, his grizzled appearance, and his fiery temper drowned out talk of his performances. Paparazzi photos became weapons, showing him heavier, older, and weary, far from the powerful Maximus that had defined him. Talk shows and tabloids mocked his appearance, calling him a shadow of the star he once was. In an industry obsessed with image, Crowe's transformation became cruel fodder for ridicule. Worse, Hollywood began to move on. Younger actors took the roles that once would have been his, while directors hesitated to gamble on a man known for chaos. The gladiator who once commanded the screen was now painted as a relic, a cautionary tale of how quickly fame can sour. His downfall wasn't just professional, it was public, merciless, and unrelenting. Russell Crowe's journey shows us how fragile fame truly is. One moment, he stood as Maximus, the immortal warrior of the screen, crowned with Oscars and global adoration. The next, he was branded a hothead, mocked for his appearance and treated as a relic of Hollywood's cruel memory. His story reminds us that even legends are human, that behind the applause and the spotlight are flaws, tempers, and struggles no award can erase. Perhaps the most haunting truth is how scandal can eclipse greatness. For Crowe, the dark side of fame wasn't just gossip, it was a chain that reshaped how the world saw him. He is still alive, still working, but forever shadowed by headlines that refuse to fade. And maybe that is the greatest tragedy of all, not being forgotten, but being remembered for the wrong reasons. So what do you think? Is Russell Crowe still the gladiator who once inspired millions, or has he become another celebrity fall from grace? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And if this story struck a chord, don't forget to like, share and subscribe for more untold stories, Hollywood scandals, and the truths hidden behind the glittering lights.